Hey guys, Mike here from Airsoft.com. Today I'm going to be looking over my WE Sig 226. Okay, so here we have the Sig 226 from WE. I'll go over the features first. Top slide, your sights are your standard dot sights for standard pistol sights. At the front here you've got a railed section. Standard. It's a 20mm rail. Fit whatever accessories, lights or lasers on there. For those of you that have noticed, it is curved, but it's effectively the same as your standard flat top rails that you get on your M4s or on your AKs. It's just a different design. It works exactly the same way. You've got your lower frame. On your lower frame you've got your slide release lever, decocking lever, slide catch, magazine release, lower frame with your trigger and your trigger guard in, and obviously magazine well at the bottom. You've got your retention lanyard loophole there, so you can attach the retention lanyard. Pistol grips are changeable, just the two screws here. It's full metal where it's supposed to be metal. Obviously certain parts of the internals are plastic, but hammer, lower frame, upper slide, everything there is metal. Coming back to the slide release lever, I'll just show you how that works. It's slightly different than most normal pistols. Basically, when you cycle your top slide, lock it to the rear, you pull this down to the bottom position. You'll notice as you put it down, the spring guide moves forward. You can then release that and your top slide will come off. Inside, standard internals. There's a lot of metal parts in here, which is nice. Obviously metal being stronger than polymer in most cases. Obviously all your internals are there, very nicely made and nicely built. On the top you've got your hop adjustment in here. It's a little wheel, roll it forwards, roll it back, spring guide and recoil spring here. And that's about it. There's nothing really too much major to worry about in there unless you want to get into the actual servicing of these. Put the pistol back together. Simply lock it back, top slide back to the rear. Pull that back up. You notice the spring guide moves backwards. Release it. Carry out your function check as per normal. So decocking lever. As you may have noticed, there's no safety catch on this pistol. We've got here is basically it is a decocking lever. What happens with this is, if you notice the hammer's to the rear here, when I pull down this lever, the hammer will move forward to its first stage. Basically, the reason for that is in terms of the real version of this, the real firearm, what that means is when your pistol is decocked, it is drop safe. It does have a repeating trigger, meaning every time you pull the trigger, it does fire off the action. If your pistol is drop safe, it means you can drop it, obviously, and it won't go off. What does that mean? In reality, basically, when the hammer is back, the weight of the pistol, the weight of the trigger, if you were to drop this on the floor, obviously the G-force of that put on that trigger could theoretically fire the pistol. Is that so relevant in airsoft? Not really. However, it's not something I'm really willing to test, given that these are essentially toys and they are not made to the same standards as real firearms. The way that works is when you have decocked the trigger, it's about a 10-pound trigger pull. So 10 pounds of pressure for that trigger pull. When the trigger is fully to the rear after you've cycled it, I think it's between 2 and 5 pound. I think it's 2, but it could be 5. Trigger pressure. So it's a very, very light touch to fire off that action, and that's what decocking it does. It takes it from 2 pounds to 10 pounds of trigger pressure. When you fire off that action, to fire it from all the way from trigger reset, that's 15 pounds of pressure to get that all the way back. Obviously, you need to cycle the pistol first to get a BB up into the chamber. Magazine release here, standard spring-loaded push button. Magazine wise, standard gas mags for your pistol. knocker on the rear, gas knocker, gas valve on top, and spring loaded. Get about 15 to 20 BBs in here. I think you can get 22 at a push. I wouldn't recommend going over 15. Give yourself some leeway on that spring. You don't want to over compress it every time. The pistol is clear. In terms of FPS, this fires. It's on a cold day. At the moment, it's not particularly warm, and on 0.2s, this was hitting about 260 to 265 on average. Not bad. I run 2.5s in this, and that obviously drops the FPS down. But this, I've not had any dramas with this in terms of accuracy or range for the environment and scenarios that I've ever used it in. I have used this a lot, as some of you may be aware. I've had this for a while without reviewing it. And that's because I wanted to really put it through its paces. This is my own pistol, so that's why it's got all the scuffs and marks on it. And I really have put a good few, probably about 1,000 rounds through this since I've had it. In terms of that's in gameplay and also in my little garage range I've got set up for messing about, basically. So for those eagle-eye viewers of you out there, you notice that on the slide here, on the pistol grip here, it says F226 rather than P226. You'll also notice there's no trademarks at all, or serial numbers at all on the frame or slide, with the exception of 9mm para on the ejection port cover. That's because WE do not have the licensing or manufacturing rights to reproduce the Sig Sauer pistols. Now, what that means, unfortunately, is that these are slightly bigger than their real steel counterparts. Not so much of a drama if you're running a soft holster, but if you want to run a rigid Kydex holster or anything like that, the Black Hawk Serpas or the IMI Defense rigid retention holsters, these will not fit without modification to the holster. Some people recommend, or have done in the past, they've put the holster in the oven to heat up. Not something I've done myself. What I've done is, you can see here, I've taken my this is my IMI holster, and as you can see, it goes in nicely and with ease. What I've actually done with this is, if you can see inside there, it's a bit rough. I've sanded down the inside. It took about an hour, maybe hour and a half of moderate work. It wasn't really that strenuous. It was just sanding down. I wrapped the sandpaper around a little bit of wood so I could get right in there, sanding it down, and then trying again with the pistol. And as you can see now, it goes in nicely. What would happen before is I couldn't even get that in any further than this. Now it goes in nicely. It works perfectly for me. Yeah, so that's the problem that you'll run into with these. You do need to modify them ever so slightly, and you don't need to take much material down. Then obviously what I will do now that I've done this video is I will finish this off with some wet and dry and just smooth that out. In terms of cost for this, you're looking at about £120 from Just Cause Airsoft. Put a link in the description below. And yeah, it's a great pistol. I absolutely love this. I love the weight. The slide, it's not quite as snappy as your little Glocks or your polymer pistols. It does have a bit of a weighty kick to it. You know, some people with really small hands might find the pistol grip a little bit too bulky. For me, it fits perfectly. I've got quite large hands, and that it fits perfectly, especially when gripped fully. I don't have any dramas with this pistol at all. As I said, it's nice. It feels nice and it fires great, and it's accurate as well. Running 2.5s, I run the Madball 2.5s through this, and it's absolutely great. I absolutely love it. So there you go, guys. That's the WE Sig 226. As I said, great pistol. I absolutely love it. I love the feel of it. I love the weight of it, and I love the way it shoots. Not the best in terms of dimensions. You do have that problem with the rigid holsters, as I mentioned before, but it is easily fixed if you're willing to put the time in. Available from Just Cause Airsoft, 120 quid. Link will be down in the description below. And yeah, as I said, great pistol. I absolutely love this. If you've got one and you like it or you love it, let me know in the description below. And as always, if you like content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Are they all fucking blues there? Dude.